Live here on SABC News channel. We are still coming to you live from Valhalla, that's in Centurion, here in the Gauteng province. Earlier on, we were speaking to those involved in this row of the erection of the mosque. This is the very same field whereby the mosque is expected to be erected. As the mayor was saying earlier on, in a year's time, they're hoping to see everything in a full swing now. So we thought we should bring the two gentlemen involved here back together, because the other one is saying the proper procedures were not followed. The other one is saying that no, everything was followed as they want the mosque to be erected here. Let me welcome once again Mr. Richard Buota and Mr. Yusuf Bramji. Gentlemen, good morning once again. Let's just start with the process issue. You were saying to me earlier on that the processes were followed. I've just spoken to the mayor of Swan, who was saying, yeah, you were saying they were not followed. The mayor was saying that everything was followed, and Mr. Abramji is also saying that the procedures were followed. Why are you insisting? Because I heard you off air now, you guys were still arguing that no procedures were not followed. Why are you insisting that indeed no proper procedures were followed in this regard?
Okay, first of all, I think you need to take into account that right from the beginning, the normal process is to notify a community with notifications on the ground itself that the ground will be changing ownership and those, especially when it comes to council property. That wasn't done. Number two, in that very first process, the ward councillor wasn't informed and the ward committee wasn't informed, which is part of the public participation process as required by the Public Participation Act.
So are you saying the ward committee was not involved? And you do sit in the ward committee meetings, don't you?
That is correct. They were never informed of this whole process. So that started the whole premise off wrong. We actually had 2 days notification where a third of the population of Valhalla, within 2 days, objected to this mosque. So therefore it shows that due process wasn't followed. If due process had been followed and it had gone through the right procedures, we wouldn't have had this problem. I don't blame the Muslim community for trying to get their church. I do blame council for not following due process.
Let's get their view. I see you disagreeing with him when he says proper procedures were not followed.
Richard is not being honest. The mayor of Tshwane put it very clearly that all due process were followed. 24th of August 2014, I attended a public meeting with the community, residents of Valhalla, even the objectors were there. For the record, the ward councillor...
I'm sorry, that's a lie.
Can I please finish my point?
No,
the ward councillor...
Just let him... No, gentlemen, wait. Let him say his side of the story. I am going to come back to you.
24th of August 2014, the DA ward councillor was in the meeting. She objected to the proposed mosque. There was a lot of shouting, a lot of screaming. 2 other public meetings were held. If the community wasn't informed, why did your ward councillor and why did the residents of Valhalla come to the meeting? Point number 1. Secondly, let me come to the core problem here. Yes, people have a right to object. The mayor said it this morning. The land has been allocated. If people feel that the right processes were not followed, we have law and order in South Africa. You're welcome to take it to a court of law. What we are seeing in Valhalla, very sadly, is racism and Islamophobia. We are seeing people, part of the objection group, threatening to throw pigs' heads at the mosque, threatening violence, inciting violence.
But who are those? Do you personally know those people?
We have their names, we have their phone numbers, and we are going to take them to the Equality Court and the Human Rights Commission. And I want Richard to publicly condemn his fellow citizens who are inciting violence. We saw placards last week where they were demonstrating ISIS, Paris, Valhalla. What has our religion got to do with ISIS? The word Boko Haram has been thrown around. The misinformation that we are seeing here is very, very sad.
Well, let me give Richard time to respond.
Okay. First of all, it's a lie that there was a public process. When it came to the meeting that he's talking about, the public participation, me as the objector, because my name was the one that was put forward as representing the objectors, I wasn't informed. The councillor wasn't informed. That's after 2 processes. Now it's my turn. And for him to say that this is a racist action, that's racist in itself. You understand? To brush the whole of the community with this racist brush. There's a few individuals, just like I'm sure there is. Yes, ISIS forms part of the Muslim community as well, because they do say that they are.
But was it necessary?
They do say they are from Islam. So they are a small minority within Islam that is also racist. So yes, within every community, you're going to get a few racists. It's a given. However, this process And why I was involved in this process was because the community was never consulted. We have a Public Participation Act that says that a community must be consulted. I sat in a petitions meeting where the official said to my face, "We don't care what the Valhalla residents think. This thing is going through." Then the mayor on Tuesday himself said, "We will put a mosque in every single area in Tshwane, and we don't care. If you don't like it, move out."
Palesa, there are 8 churches in this particular area. There's a community of about 250 plus Muslim families here. We have a right to a mosque. Our constitution guarantees.
Are you saying 250?
That's debatable.
Because Mr. Botha earlier on was saying 40.
Now, Mr. Botha lives in his own world. Mr. Botha has agreed that part of his objecting group are racist. Thank you for making the admission. That is the core of the problem. We are dealing here with a bunch of racists who are against transformation.
Mr. Abramji,
You are lying.
let me just get here, gentlemen. Let me just get here because we're not going to go anywhere if we do not cooperate. Are those not serious allegations? I mean, the fact that you say
that
I am prepared to back up that allegation in the South African Human Rights Commission or the Equality Court. We have it on Facebook, we have it on Twitter, where people are saying we will come and throw pigs' heads. We'll stop you. We'll stop the Muslim community. The derogatory words are being used as part of the objections group. Be it as it may.
And I've got people that have been threatened by people by telephone that have been threatened that they will be taken out.
Let me just come here. Let me just come here once again. Those that had placards that were written ISIS, do you know those? Because apparently they're also objectors to the whole issue. Do you perhaps know those people?
I don't know them personally. Just remember, there's over 3,000. There's 3,000 people that put their name to the petition. I don't know those 3,000 people personally.
But what do you have to say as part of the objectors regarding the incitement of violence?
Well, you see, the thing is that this is heated up to a stage where, look, I disagree with any statements made about pig heads or anything like that. I disagree with any of those statements. However, there have been phone calls made which I was informed by the ward councillor of this council, where she was threatened if she continued with her stance.
The ward councillor is open is welcome to open criminal charges against anyone. Violence will not be tolerated. We have a right to a mosque. People can stand on their heads, they can threaten us with violence. This mosque will come up. The mayor said it this morning. This mosque will come up whether people like it or not.
Again. This is apartheid talk because you're not listening to the community. This is look. You have
a handful of people.
Excuse me. A third of the community within 2 days.
You know what? Let me tell you now.
A third of the community. You represent less than 1%.
There's a pastor from a local mosque. He came here to come and support the mosque. The Jewish community has come forward to support the mosque. You are scared. What you are promoting is Islamophobia.
No.
You relate our religion.
I'm promoting democratic process.
Democratic when you object to a mosque.
I'm promoting.
You're right, you're demoting our religion. You said it now, you've admitted you're demoting our religion.
I'm promoting democratic process. That's it.
Here.
I'm saying, why did the mayor hand over the property before the lapse of the appeal period?
If you think
why?
that is wrong, take him to court.
You know what?
And we will see you in court.
I think that this is politically motivated. I think that this is politically motivated. And
why do you believe it's politically motivated?
Are you a member of the ACDP or Freedom Front?
No.
Which party do you support?
No, it's not about which party. No, it's very much irrelevant in this regard. Gentlemen, remember that.
The ACDP and the Freedom Front voted against.
I can't speak for the ACDP or the Freedom Front.
No. Let's just get this back to order. Let us just get back to this to order. Gentlemen.
That was requested to represent.
Okay, all right. Now that we've just spoken to the mayor of Tshwane, who said that the processes were followed, the erection of the mosque is just going to continue as expected. Are you going to explore other avenues, perhaps?
Look, I am following the appeals process at the moment, which only elapses on the 28th. Now, the mayor has already handed over the piece of ground, even although the Municipal Systems Act states that there's an appeal period of 21 working days after a decision is made by council. I will follow that process on behalf of the community. I will also approach a court of law on behalf of the community, and if it needs to go to the Constitutional Court, so be it, because I think this is an issue that needs to be resolved. I think this is unhealthy. I seriously think this is unhealthy for South Africa as a whole. I think we need to get to a stage where we understand what our democracy is about and where we understand the future of our democracy.
Now, one other issue that you mentioned to me earlier on was the fact that there is going to be noise as they pray 5 times a day. And I spoke to Mr. Abramji earlier on, who said that with the latest technology innovation, there is not going to be any noise.
You see, I appreciate that, and that does allay some of the fears that were raised by the community. However, when the mayor stood up on Tuesday, he said, yes, in this call to prayer, that is the way they practice their religion, and we will support it 100%. So it looks as if the problem isn't here. It would appear that the problem's coming from council more than anything else. So maybe we're looking at in the wrong space.
And how do you have to respond? But because it looks like the message never got to ordinary people on the ground because their fear was noise.
The mayor said it again this morning. We've agreed, the community has agreed, and members of the community, the leadership are here today, that we will have transmitters in the homes of people so that the call of prayer does not disturb anyone. We are a very tolerant religion. There are mosques throughout the world, right? A mosque is not a place where hatred is being promoted. A mosque is a place for peace. We have a right to pray 5 times a day. Richard uses the argument that Laudium in Erasmus is a few kilometers away. There are 8 churches in Valhalla. This is a predominantly, before the first dawn of democracy, it was only a white area. The Muslim community has moved in here. The African community has moved in here. No, I'm not finished. You had your chance. And what we need to do is to really stand up for what is right. Our constitution, which is a great constitution, promotes freedom of religion. My religion has a right to freedom. To relate my religion to ISIS is an insult. To relate it to Boko Haram is an insult. And I'm happy that Richard has agreed that many of his supporters are racist.
Did you really say that they are racist within those that are objecting?
I did not say many. I did not say anything. I said within every community, including the Muslim community, there is probably racists.
Are there racists in the group that are opposed to the erection of the mosque?
Not that I know personally. Not that I know personally.
Vanessa, I'm sorry.
And now I just want to ask another question. Some of the groups that objected as well were not just white Afrikaner. I know that's the best way to create a racist impression over here. Some of them were from the previously residents of Erasmus and Laudium as well. Okay, they Hindus, whites as well, but also there's black members of our community that have said they like the culture of our community and they're worried because of what they saw happen in Laudium and Erasmus, where they felt the need to leave those areas because they felt that they were being forced out of those areas. Now, I'm not saying this, I'm saying this is what I'm hearing from the community. So maybe the whole process, because it was flawed, it never gave an opportunity for people to actually communicate with each other, to actually have those public participations. It was a knee-jerk reaction to this is being forced through. And now this started its trend. And you see,
quickly, we've got to conclude it right here, very much quickly.
There were 3 public processes, public meetings were held. Point number 2, Valhalla is not Orania. We cannot live in enclaves. This is a multicultural, a multifaceted community, and we are allowed to having our mosque. Nothing will stop this mosque from coming up. We will fight this matter if we have to the Constitutional Court. But I think what we need to do is, like the mayor said last week, we have to pray for the likes of people like Richard. We have to educate them because they are misinformed. Islamophobia must come to an end. We as a community are sick and tired of people throwing the race card and inciting violence. We will fight them and we will make sure that this mosque comes up.
Well, gentlemen, that's where we're going to have to leave it. We're going to have to leave it right here. That's what you have. You'll probably make your conclusions and draw your own opinion based on this matter. We had both the gentlemen here and they argued out what they believe is right and what they believe is wrong. Well, that's all we had for you live from Valhalla here in Centurion. We're taking a break. Money Live continues. Stay tuned.